So now this news is down almost 50% of their view traffic year over year for the month of June 2019. Means they've gone from around 1.5 billion views a month to 750 million. Now, that seems like a lot of views, and it is, but it's also a massive decline from last year. So what's going on? And to illustrate what's going on, I want to tell a story. 3 years ago, I was sitting in a meeting at a digital media company, not unlike NowThis. And there's a nice big conference room table, and we were probably 19 stories up in Manhattan, New York City. You could overlook Midtown, and everybody was talking about views, Facebook views. At the time, we had the largest Facebook page on the planet, and the amount of views we were getting were just astronomical. And so the sales team were talking about like, oh, we could pitch this, we could make this much money from this series, and programmatic ads doing this. And at the head of the table, with his little bit of beard and buzz cut, the head of the meeting said, I don't give a f about views. And I was just a little moron at the time, petite bête maybe. But he was right looking back, that when you only have one data point, you can kind of tell whatever story you want. And views alone, you can tell any kind of story you want to weave with just one data point, views. You can make a company look good or bad. That guy was Zay Frank. He cared about shares. That's what he really kept his eye on. He wanted to know how videos were sharing. That was the metric he cared about when everybody was talking about views. So we'll circle back to NowThis. In 2019, NowThis's monthly video views have gone to 750 million from where they were at 1.5 billion views a month. Now, it's actually slightly worse than that, because of their 750 million views a month, 550 of those views are Facebook views alone. YouTube accounted for 7 million views of that. 7 million out of 750 million views was only YouTube. The bulk, 75-80% of their monthly traffic is still from Facebook. Now, they haven't heard of NowThis news. You're probably older than 25 or 30. Anybody under the 25 has certainly heard of NowThis. They were one of the first digital media companies to really make a play for putting their content on social platforms. And for a long time, they didn't even have a website. They focused on putting their content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, and that this is how young people were consuming media, so we're just going to bother putting our content on these social platforms. We're not going to bother having a website. Forget it. And they actually do now have a website. They've caved on that element. But they gambled big on the kind of social platforms. And the problem is that these platforms can kind of control the pipeline of traffic. That if Facebook changes an algorithm, it can lower the views of NowThis. And that's what's happened. You've seen these platforms change their algorithms over time. And just as YouTubers complain about the YouTube algorithm changing so that their videos no longer get recommended or shared or on the browse feature, the same thing happens to big digital media publishers on Facebook. A lot of YouTubers have gone in on YouTube, and that's been the focus of individual creators. A lot of media publishers have gone in on Facebook because that's where they can get the massive amount of views. But there are some caveats. So NowThis actually claims that despite sponsored content going down 78% year over year as well, that means they've lost 8 out of every 10 advertisers for sponsored content, they're actually making more money than they were last year. And you get to think, well, is this wizardry? Are they just lying to this Digiday report? No, I don't think they are, because what's happening is the views are not views. For a long time, Facebook counted a view as 3 seconds. Anything over 3 seconds counted as a view. And on the back end, when you would look and monitor how, if you were a digital media company, you'd monitor how your videos were doing, you would see a graph go like this. It's right in front of my face. It would go like this. The amount of people watching would start like this and go swoop, straight down. So you'd have 100% of traffic would watch for 3-4 seconds, and then it'd immediately go plummet to around the 10-second mark, where you maybe have 20% of that audience keep watching, and then 5% watch all the way through. And Facebook has since changed what they count as a view from 3 seconds to 10 seconds. So now all those views that were counted as views at the 3-second mark are now only counted at the 10-second mark. So by doing nothing but changing how you measure what a view counts, you've changed the view count. And Facebook has control over that. NowThis doesn't have control over that. But what they've done is they've sold people on the idea that, like, well, we have higher engagement. Forget our 3-second view count. Those numbers were nonsense anyway, they tell advertisers. Oh, says the advertisers, we can promise you 10-second views, 30-second views. We have longer engagement, which proves that our content's better, and so you should advertise it with us. And if they were smart, they would have always geared the selling of their content that way. They would have never looked at that top line view number. They would have always looked at the engagement number of like 25% through a video, 50% through a video. What's the completion rate? And then sell that audience, because that audience is engaged and more likely to maybe consume a product the advertiser is putting out. And they may be selling more programmatic advertising at a higher spend because they're saying, well, forget the 3-second view. Yes, our views have gone down, but our actual engaged viewers have gone up. We now have a higher 10-second view rate than we did last year. Yes, 1 billion people watched 3 seconds of our video last year, but only 20 million watched 10 seconds. And this year, only 500 million people are watching our stuff, but at 10-second mark, it's actually gone up. We're now at 100 million views. So, hey, give us some more advertising money. This is a big, weird back-end game that's played with metrics, analytics on different platforms, and you can play this game for a long time. This is what digital media companies do with sales teams and executives. They play this analytics metric game, but it ultimately, in my mind, comes down to how a video shares. It comes all the way back to Jose Frank talking about, like, do an audience member take an action? Are they willing to share this video with other peers? Because Facebook, to this day, still does not have a good search function for content. Until it does, ultimately the only way a platform or creator can grow on Facebook is if their content shares among other individuals. Another person has to take an action and share that video to their friends. That's the only way to get visibility. Anyway, just some thoughts on the current state of digital media. If you found this moderately insightful, like, subscribe, make a new video every day. Click here for another one maybe. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.